Good morning, everybody. Today I'd like to read to you a story that is a super fun story titled Charles by Shirley Jackson. Follow along as I read. The day my son Lori started kindergarten, he renounced corduroy overalls with bibs and began wearing blue jeans with a belt. I watched him go off the first morning with the older girl next door, seeing clearly that an era of my life had ended. My sweet-voiced nursery school tot replaced by a long-trousered, swaggering character who forgot to stop at the corner and wave goodbye to me. He came home the same way, the front door slamming open, his hat on the floor, and the voice suddenly becoming raucous, shouting, "Isn't anybody here?" At lunch, he spoke insolently to his father, spilled his baby sister's milk, and remarked that his teacher said we were not to take the name of the Lord in vain. "How was school today?" I asked, elaborately casual. "All right," he said. "Did you learn anything?" his father asked. Lori regarded his father coolly. "I didn't learn nothing," he said. "Anything," I said. "Didn't learn anything." "The teacher spanked a boy, though," Lori said, addressing his bread and butter. "For being fresh," he added with his mouth full. "What did he do?" I asked. "Who was it?" Lori thought. "It was Charles," he said. "He was fresh. The teacher spanked him and made him stand in the corner. He was awfully fresh." "What did he do?" I asked again. But Lori slid off his chair, took a cookie, and left, while his father was still saying, "See here, young man." The next day, Lori remarked at lunch, as soon as he sat down, "Well, Charles was bad again today." He grinned enormously and said, "Today, Charles hit the teacher." "Good heavens," I said, mindful of the Lord's name. "I suppose he got spanked again?" "He sure did," Lori said. "Look up," he said to his father. "What?" his father said, looking up. "Look down," Lori said. "Look at my thumb. Gee, you're dumb." He began to laugh insanely. "Why did Charles hit the teacher?" I asked quickly. "Because she tried to make him color with red crayons," Lori said. "Charles wanted to color with green crayons, so he hit the teacher and she spanked him and said nobody play with Charles, but everybody did." The third day, it was Wednesday of the first week, Charles bounced a seesaw on the head of a little girl and made her bleed, and the teacher made him stay inside all during recess. Thursday, Charles had to stand in a corner during story time because he kept pounding his feet on the floor. Friday, Charles was deprived of blackboard privileges because he threw chalk. On Saturday, I remarked to my husband, "Do you think kindergarten is too unsettling for Lori? All this toughness and bad grammar, and this Charles boy sounds like such a bad influence." "It'll be all right," my husband said reassuringly. "Bound to be people like Charles in the world. Might as well meet them now as later." On Monday, Lori came home late, full of news. "Charles!" he shouted as he came up the hill. I was waiting anxiously on the front steps. "Charles!" Lori yelled all the way up the hill. "Charles was bad again." "Come right in," I said as soon as he came close. "Lunch is waiting." "You know what Charles did?" he demanded, following me through the door. "Charles yelled so in school they sent a boy in from first grade to tell the teacher she had to make Charles keep quiet. And so Charles had to stay after school, and so all the children stayed to watch him." "What did he do?" I asked. "He just sat there," Lori said, climbing into his chair at the table. "Hi, Pop, you old dust mop." "Charles had to stay after school today," I told my husband. "Everybody stayed with him." "What does this Charles look like?" my husband asked Lori. "What's his other name?" "He's bigger than me," Lori said, "and he doesn't have any rubbers, and he doesn't ever wear a jacket." Monday night was the first parent-teachers meeting, and only the fact that the baby had a cold kept me from going. I wanted passionately to meet Charles's mother. On Tuesday, Lori remarked suddenly, "Our teacher had a friend come in to see her in school today." Okay, we're going to pause there and I'll make a part 2.